character dies heroically. That could have been like that is what you're supposed to do. That is how you're supposed to die.
Yeah, that's a
And
more
Michael
interesting,
could be
nuanced
like,
way of doing it, as
yeah,
opposed to if no one that dies can ever come back in any way. Um, that'd be a fine interpretation too, but it would be much more, I would say, boring.
yeah.
Maybe you need to pray on
also-
it to know the answer.
Yeah, there's that. Like he could reach out to Hades and be like, "Was it his time?" I guess I could like roll like a 50-50 die.
Oh yeah, and I forgot about that. Again, if you're a cleric, then you get access to some really weird shit, like
Is
You-
there like a
like communication with deity.
Yeah, I think it's scrying, and also something that I wanted to mention was Azamar and the
god as a class?
What's up?
Hey.
Which you're a bit quiet, just so you know.
Okay, I was saying you can. I think you can just talk to God as a class ability, right?
there's scrying, and I don't know. There's probably some other stuff.
Yeah, I think there is a high enough channel divinity that you can just straight up like. Just
Gain
Yeah,
your
that's what
face
I'm
down.
referring.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't have that yet. I think,
No,
but
it's a fairly high level.
I like
I don't
to
even-
call it the Tele Evangelist spell. Just talk to God.
yeah, but
Check it really quick. 'Cause, yeah, I think I've heard of that.
So yeah, even if Michael finds out that the abbot's a diva, he's just gonna be like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna sip on this wine and eat this."
It's better than a fiend, right?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Yeah, there's divine intervention, but that's more of the God intervenes to save you or something, and the DM, it's like you roll something, and then the die determine whether it happens or not, like whether it is successful, and then I get to choose as the DM like what actually occurs. Like,
Right.
I could say like this spell goes off or whatever, and this thing occurs out of nowhere, and you don't die, or the party is safe. But it's like pretty strong. Can't use it again more than once every 7 days, which this campaign is. I've never haven't looked at the actual time, but it has not been going on very long in game time. So
Probably been like less than a week, right?
Surely more than
at
a
this
week.
time, it's more than a week, less than 2 weeks.
yeah, that feels about right.
I want to say it's close to 2 weeks at this point. My gut is saying, but I should look back at the actual
It just
time.
feels longer because we came in Velaki, we came in Barovia and shook up everything.
Yeah, you done so much. Yeah.
Yeah, so Michael's probably been here less than a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. I think it'd be more interesting to say that Michael came in after the other group, the main group did, like, everybody else.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you'll work it out. But
Yeah. Anyway, Din Din
Din.
with the app.
Yeah. How many times with the abbot?
I'm just curious why everyone's not sitting at the table, but okay.
Well, it's actually hard to get onto the table itself in terms
Okay.
of the squares.
Is that more?
Yeah, that doesn't look too bad.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm standing. But
Aggressively leaning over the table from Michael.
so is this like a dinner kind of like first course? Some sort of chicken or whatever the Barovia equivalent.
Turnips.
Everything that's gonna be eaten is at the table already, but I'm trying to think what kind of meal they still actually said what kind of food there was. 1 second, I'm looking. It was actually pretty decent. It wasn't like
More pudding,
Oh yeah,
please.
oh, yeah, pie. I forgot about pie. That could be. I'm gonna
because I
Sitting
think
at the head of the table.
Anyone's
I think
character
Lucian's
allergic
attitude's
to
gonna
nuts?
depending on the availability of pie, Lucian's either going to be pretty upset or pretty happy. It all depends on the pie situation.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of you really care about pies. It's great.
Yeah, I'm sure there's also wine, like maybe a good cab or a Merlot.
And some fromage, right?
Oh,
That's
I
all.
mean Merlot and Cabaret or whatever. That's like the limit of my wine knowledge. There's red wine and white wine.
Isn't cabaret that it's kind of like burlesque stuff?
I don't know. I don't drink wine
well,
because of
those
the
are
flavor.
dinner conversation.
Yeah, as far as what's available there, you got a lot of soup. It's turnip and rabbit soup.
Rabbit.
What else is there? I'll just say that there is another, like, fox or wolf, some sort of other not great meat, because they just took what they could get.
Fox meat,
It's very,
jeez.
Yeah.
very gamey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be very gamey. That would be a thing. But and then I'm gonna say, could there be any fruit here? It'd be hard to come by fruit.
There's no fun in Barovia.
No,
Well, this guy isn't.
there's no sun in Barovia. So.
That's true.
Hey, if there's a pomegranate, don't eat it.
Yeah, let's just say there's some kind of nice. Oh, I got it. It could be like a beet pie or something.
Ooh, sounds
they could-
disgusting, but
Yeah.
could be.
Drop
Yeah.
those beets.
Yeah, it's gonna. It tastes sweet, and it's something they can attain here reasonably. Yeah. Otherwise, up in this high elevation and all that is
Yeah.
challenging.
Fucking
Yeah, I'm
name-
assuming these two guys are kind of animalistic in their eating of the soup.
Yeah.
They are to an extent, but the abbot has been trying to encourage
Use your
them
utensils, like I told
to be more polite and to be more
That's
like.
scene from Beauty and the Beast. It's like
you.
the
Now
good
I've
one.
got 2 kids. I know how it is.
So, like once it's kind of soup's all done, it's more dessert. He's just gonna enjoy the pie. He's just casually kind of look up at Frankenstein's bride, and then he's gonna kind of see if anyone else notices that she's not human or alive or even a person.
That's the norm in this place. I think everyone would just.
He's just gonna be like, is anyone going to
I think that's what my 19 insight was last time we played.
Yeah. I don't think I would know that though. I might see it on your face. Well, I can't see
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so Lucian's just gonna be like, so
Yeah, reading Michael's pretty hard.
anyone wanna talk about the zombie in the room? I mean elephant in the room?
Yeah.
What? Sorry, just
Um,
enjoying this pie. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I look around for the elephant. Where?
He says, yeah, the pie is great, but I was just
There's a
wondering
dog,
if
man.
anyone wanted to talk about this creature, this I don't know what would you like to call it, Mr. Abbott?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean in
So,
and
interesting.
tell
How
the
am I gonna
abbot.
respond to being polite about it or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna just lean in and be like, I gotta get my character voice. I admire your patchwork, Abbott.
That's a character voice.
It's a little
It-
deeper.
It is a little deeper. I didn't realize last time when
Yes. Level. Always encourage character
Oh,
voice.
absolutely. I'm just saying I did not realize there was a character voice being put on.
No, well,
Fair.
Oh, by the way, as a reminder, there is music coming from upstairs.
What kind? I might have a little interest in music, you know.
Let me check that because I don't say. They just say there is music coming from upstairs. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Instrumental, singing, or unnatural, maybe Cthulhu-like sort of voices in your head kind of music, weirdly. Could be important.
Yeah, I can look at that one second.
It's definitely punk, yes.
Ah, a viol. So like I think a viol is like a slightly large violin. I think.
Oh,
if I
that
remember
sounds
correctly.
like a... Oh, what's the word of it? Forget it.
Live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a combo. It's like the in between a cello and a violin.
Yeah,
That's
think-
what I understood. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit deeper than a violin, but not a cello in terms of the average pitch of its. I don't know, notes.
I just turned to
Yeah. You play it like a cello, but it's like a smaller cello.
the abbot is the one in charge, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I turn
much
to the
so.
abbot and say, "Oh, I see you have a musician in your employ. We'll have to exchange some pointers later on. I'm a bit of a musical buff myself."
He turns to one and smiles and says, "Ah, yes, Clovis is a beautiful musician, very talented,
Okay.
and we're glad to have him here. He keeps the spirits up, despite the cold weather." And that's all he
Is-
says. He was going to say something more, but he's like stops himself from going on.
Is there a way of me to tell if it's I don't know, charming ability, like if you were a bard trying to charm people, or like subtly try to identify if it's a charm effect?
Oh, sure, you could try to do that. Yeah, a bard would be able to tell. Let's say let's say in either some sort of intel.
Intel. Most of my stats are pretty even.
Like an
so-
investigation.
Investigation. Okay.
Yeah, I want something to be. I want it to be some sort of intelligence thing. It wouldn't be wisdom because it wouldn't be something that's just intuitive.
18.
So yeah, investigation works the best. Yeah, that's you can tell that it's not magically
Intended for charming people.
intertwined. Yeah, no, it's just music, and it's not exactly like amazing. It's average. It's like something you would hear from a street performer or something like that.
I'd say yeah, you could use a bit of practice. You know, I'll see if I can talk to him a bit later.
Did he have any kind of response to us inquiring about his?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet.
No, sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I was thinking about multiple different things. Like I'm trying to think of like if he would be offended by the way you asked it rather than what you asked.
Oh yeah, I will see.
I
Um,
admire your patchwork.
He was gonna be a lot meaner about it, but this guy had pretty good pie, so he's feeling good and nice.
Just add a weakness
You
for
know,
pie.
never had a beet pie before, but this one was all right.
Yeah,
It was nice to eat something. In general, you guys have not eaten this well in a long time.
Lower
Many days.
my knife and
Maybe a
fork
week.
and
I
say,
think we've eaten for a lot of days.
lower my
outside
knife.
of your rations. Which is
It
all
does,
I like.
kinda.
Yeah, you can only live so long on MREs.
I lower my knife and fork and say, "It's hard to beat performance." There you go. Dun dun. Upstairs, the dun dun dun. Nice.
Nice. He gives you kind of like a flat look of thanks for trying. And
I don't need your pity.
Yeah, or I don't need your attempts at humor. He's not a very humorly inclined man. In response to what Lucian said, he stops momentarily eating. Like he stops, his silverware stops on his plate, and he looks right at Lucian with a more surprising intensity that he has this whole time, despite like all the kind of harsh questions that were being asked of him earlier in the courtyard, which is not the truth.
Yeah, that was pretty mean.
He still does not. He doesn't say anything for probably about 30 seconds, just staring at Lucian. And somehow Clovis
What
knows.
did you ask, Lucian?
He asked. Lucian asked us like, so what's going on with her? Like, as in implying that there's something wrong with her, or that there's something off with her.
He was just like, so is anyone going to talk about the zombie elephant in the room? You know, the person who's obviously not a person, but is sitting at the dinner table.
But yeah, just he's upset that you're at all speaking, implying that she's not alive. He's not entirely mentally sane.
Oh yeah, no, I understand. I understand that, but I also don't care. Like,
Yeah,
as a person, I don't care.
Yeah, that's true. He does that, and then he looks at her, and he looks back at Lucian and says, "This is Valsilka. She is the bride for Strahd that I spoke of before."
Wait, what?
See, okay, now that's very interesting that you say that.
Yeah, Michael does a spit take while he's sipping his wine.
Yeah, he had mentioned that he didn't say that he specifically had the bride here, but he had said that he felt that the way to defeat Strahd and the curse and everything was specifically to give him back his lover, his bride,
Yeah, he
his,
did.
his bride. Even though they
Is he just completely delusional, or is there like a superficial resemblance to?
There really
lady?
isn't much of a resemblance to what she actually looked like, because the abbot never was told or shown or everything. So I mean, he's only been here
Right.
specifically.
So
And then he
why
says
did
he
you?
interact with Shrug, so he doesn't ever have seen her before.
Okay, so he just picked up a random corpse and reanimated it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
he-
here
he
you
tried-
go.
He tries to.
She's
make
a
it
she's
as,
a bit of a fixer-upper, you know.
Yeah, as beautiful as possible in his opinion. He's going off of rumors and such, but it's been so long that it's kind of hard for people to remember what her name is Ilya.
Yeah,
So
Like, we
he's
have-
actually he's gonna pull out the little doll he has of the one girl that kind of looks
Ooh.
like Strahd's old wife, and he's gonna
Right.
hold it up to him. He's gonna just kind of hold it up in his hand. And he's gonna be like, "You know, this is who Strahd's lover was, right? Not." And then he just points at the zombie. Not that.
Yeah.
You may be a little off in your
A little.
Yep. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I just want to make absolute sure that she did
We'll
not
just,
have red hair.
just end up
Like,
insulting his relative of some kind.
Well, he shouldn't have brought the zombie to the table while we were eating. It's something you just kind of mentioned. It didn't know.
I mean, to tell you
Yeah,
plainly,
Irina-
mister, if that Finn that was my sister, I believe I disown myself, yes. That's what I would say. If it is a relative of some kind, I'm sure that would actually be quite insulting to him, but I'm assuming it is just a random corpse.
Or
actually,
bits and pieces of one.
She isn't quite correct, but her hair is a bit too bright. but I figured out that actually Irina and then Ilya and everybody, I think there was a. God damn, I had to check the fucking Tony Strahd again to figure out what her name was. Jeez.
And on top of that, in his defense, I don't think Strahd really cares about the appearance that much. I mean, he made a hit on me, as you recall.
No, he very much does. I mean, that's the entire reason why he went after the woman Irina in Barovia Village.
I don't remember that what he did with
Tatiana,
her.
that was her name. I don't remember that either, but I'll believe you for your sake. But yeah, Tatiana was the original lover. Irina is the one that he believes it actually is. The doll is of Irina. This one kind of looks like her, but it's a bastardization. It's a something drum up from rumors and speculation. So it's not correct. And then when you show Irina, it still has the same effect of you showing him the doll of Irina, and he looks at it, and he stops. But you can notice he's gripping his fork and knife more closely, like tightly, as you can see his knuckles sort of whiten.
Is his like angel aura? Is it glowing more brightly now? Like since I can see his whole angel business going on. Is he,
yeah, right. You can see that. And I said there was those occasional like black bolts of like electricity sort of kind of going through it. Those seem to be getting more intense, but nothing else about him is changing in that regard. And he's not, and going off of any sort of perception or anybody else's perspective, he's not about to attack or anything. He's just getting perturbed. He says that Vasoka is who he believes the bride is. He just kind of essentially repeats himself. He says, "This is. I was told that she looked like this, so this is who I sought out."
I don't know where you're getting your information from, but he's way off.
You need better sources. I mean, it's pretty good, right?
I think it's
It's strong though.
Air quote, rough sketch.
yeah.
I mean, not to crap on your parade here.
Yeah, I basically pushed. Oh, sorry, continue, Marcel. But I have something afterwards. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I was just goofing. Like, oh yeah, I mean, you need to put some accents on that hair. That
Yeah.
could fool me for sure.
I kind of push the matter and basically go up to her and start using my disguise kit to make her look a little more appropriate, the appearance, like without even permission or whatever else. It's like, well, according to the doll, yeah, the hair's off, the bone structure kind of weird. No, you're gonna need some actual work here.
He grits his teeth and takes one last bite of his food. Let's just say it was a piece of rabbit.
You're gonna need some.
Stew.
You're gonna need some
and
work on the
says,
teeth, or I open the mouth. Any teeth whatsoever? Yes, you need some.
Oh boy, we're just great house guests, guys.
Yeah, they're polite. He does that, and he says, "You, I appreciate the advice." Is all he says.
She says gritted teeth. I'm imagining.
He's doing his best to remain both polite and in control of himself.
There we go, dearie. Don't you look better now? It's like some rotten corpse of flies buzzing around it. It's like, yeah, I think this might not be enough, you know. I'm pretty sure this might not look like Waxana.
Hold on,
What is the name?
Chris. I want to see what Lucian had to say because he said something that would change something if he actually said that.
Oh, I once again can't hear Lucian. I'm sorry.
You have a unique problem.
It is weird.
your golem here should look like if you were to marry her off to Strahd? Why wouldn't your master tell you beforehand?
I will retcon
Wait.
that.
What did you
Um,
say? This is in character, by the way.
Hold on. When we're
Yeah.
gonna go to Michael or Mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, I will retcon that I did take off my mask to obviously eat.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh.
yeah, it would have revealed very pale face, pupilless white eyes, and short black hair.
Oh.
And hearing that he said diva, his brow kind of raises. Oh,
Yeah, that's kind of a big reveal. You know, the vial upstairs goes dun dun.
Now he's getting it. It's like-
Yep. But the abbot again turns to Lucian and like you making everything far more out in the open.
Yeah.
He turns to Siegfried and Otto and says, "Please wait outside," which they immediately do. They don't even question it.
They just
immediately
leap
close
over
that.
the table.
They evacuate.
Yeah, they just
They jump out the window.
yeah. They don't go that far, but they immediately run out the front door.
Ooh, Daddy's angry.
More pudding, sir.
Yeah, they don't question him, especially when he seems to be upset.
Okay. Can I do a perception to see if there was any like hand signals or something to like, bring in the guards or something?
Sure, you can try to. Go right ahead. Do a perception check. That's perfectly what they're designed for. 19. Yeah. No, he didn't do
Oh,
that. He was just literally just asking them to leave. Yeah. So the abbot then backs his seat up, stands up, and says, "Well, it seems that." Well, actually, if you can tell that look at your eyes, it's pretty easy to tell that you are weird. Let's just say weird.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
says,
what-
so that's what those eyes can see, and says, yes, that's what I am, but it's not how I am or what I am anymore, or how what I care about anymore."
Explain yourself.
And he
Please?
he just kind of takes a napkin from the table and kind of brushes off his face, cleans his face of any remaining food, and says, "It's pretty simple. I told you everything that happened out in the courtyard. I am a representative, if you want to put it that way, of the Thunder. I was sent down here to investigate Strahd or give aid to the followers of the Thunder that reside in this area, which is essentially one and the same in terms of what I need to do or what I would have needed to do. Then I came here to the Abbey, and everything happened as I told you. As far as with the Bellevues and that it was already in that state of disrepair. It came after Saint Markovia had passed away, and that.
Lucian stops him right there, and he says, "Yes, I've been meaning to talk to you about that as well. You told us a story about what happened to these people, but I don't think you told us the whole story. While we surveyed your grounds earlier, we noticed a few of your mongrels casting a spell, it seemed, in one of these rooms.
Oh yeah.
You said that these were just normal people who were sick and needed healing.
That's
But I don't
true.
think normal people just cast spells, or else they'd have healed themselves."
He smiles, but more of like out of a. I mean, you can interpret however you want, but he smiles and he like holding himself back from laughing. which is really unusual. Like he doesn't laugh in a while, like in a long time. It's not really a action he gets to do very often, but that one, that was amusing to him. Like he doesn't actually break out in laughing, but he like, snorts, and then he says, like heals his clues. I was like, well, I don't know what you've heard, but I can tell you with a great deal of certainty that those residing within the madhouse, kind of gesturing over in that direction that you are speaking of, it says, are incapable of performing such feats. They, their mental faculties are in no place to be able to perform something that sophisticated. It's
At that point,
likely
right?
that they are emulating someone else, or just playing. Essentially, they are similar in the to children and how they think.
Is it possible
maybe-
you could have been infiltrated somehow?
I was gonna say, when he says the whole madness thing, you should look at him real intense, and he's going to be like, I see what's inside you, Diva. Maybe they aren't the only ones that have gone mad.
Oh, you really like twisting the knife. And he,
I don't like being lied to. I mean, he didn't
he
explicitly lie to us, but
he
he
did not
tell it.
technically lie. Yeah,
But he didn't
uh,
tell the whole truth.
but he also never asked about the northeast corner. You were
That's true.
very specific about that. The very specific question that you asked, he answered truthfully. But he did not give any more information than what was asked. So you're right about that. Actually, and yeah, one, if you want, you could do an Arcana check because you were going with Lucian to do the surveying. Like you would have saw I think you would have seen the spell casting, quote unquote. So you could do an Arcana check
Sure.
to determine, like a retroactive sort of Arcana check. Like, was that actually a spell? Like, from a 17? No, it wasn't. That was nonsense. Yeah.
Oh,
Lucian
Alright,
wouldn't know that.
I wouldn't know that, but
Yeah. Yeah. It was just children trying to emulate spellcasting, like what they've heard they do.
Well,
Oh,
it's better than
that's
them.
awkward.
It's better them than an actual child we mistake to trying to attack us.
Yeah.
That could have gone badly.
But still, Lucian did question the abbot's sanity. So, but no, I'll do this. I'll do it more interestingly, rather than just going outright hostile, because I think it's a bit more boring. I'll go this direction.
Yeah.
The abbot says he tries to calm. He calms himself down again because he's like, that was a bit of a shocking statement, and says, and he asks rather, with what evidence do you make that assumption? I mean, if I were insane, I would not be able to determine such myself. So I'll entertain your theory
well,
and listen
Lucian
to what you have
looks
to say.
at him. Lucian looks at him real deep, like he just like bears into like this guy's soul, and he says, "I see the darkness within you. You may be able to hide it on the outside. My eyes see all."
Okay.
Does he
Um,
look pleasant
yeah,
on
I
the
know what you
outside?
mean. He's talking about the that's the one thing that only he would be able to see this as far
Yeah,
as
it's not really something he can explain either. It's kind of
No.
hard to explain seeing darkness in a
Yeah, you could tell like how a diva, you can kind of put it all together. Like a diva would normally look all bright
Bright light,
and light
yeah.
and just blinding angelic form, but that's not the case here.
All right. Well, since you asked, just in the spirit of hypotheticals, someone could say it would be slightly crazy to lug around a corpse and dress her up as Bride of Strahd and hope that'll fool him.
Yeah, no, that's it's really weird.
Eh,
Hypothetically, I mean.
I will say in his defense, it's actually a desperate plan more than a mad plan. It's
I mean, for sure, but he was kinda, well, stubborn. Like, he wasn't even open to the idea that it could be done any other way, and he didn't really have a reason for that assumption, at least none he would explain to us.
fair enough.
He, in response to that from Darius, he says, it's what I've heard, and it's the only thing that makes sense. That I know that he's bound to this land due to what happened with Tatiana and all that. He doesn't know all the details as accurately. It's more like just everybody knows that to some extent it's something to do with Tatiana. And all
Yeah,
that.
sure, no, that tracks. But
And he says that the only way the land can be healed and people can be free to leave is if he is reunited with her. So he just essentially just reiterates himself. He's
Yeah.
very confident. And,
Yeah.
and then he turns and he points, not points, he doesn't point, but he gestures toward the Ahsoka and says, she is as close to who I heard of, who would resemble her as much as possible.
You're kind of
But
breathing
I-
into the mic again with myself.
Yeah.
yep, thanks.
Sorry.
Well, then let's try to settle this amicably then. If you believe this thing, and he gestures at her, is the key to Strahd's madness, let us take her to him.
Yeah, well,
If you truly aren't mad, then it should make sense for us to take her to him. Hear his
he kind of grimaces at first, not having anticipated that question or that statement either, and says, "Well, she is not ready. You see, she. I was going to try to procure her. Geez, I didn't say fast. A gown, and I have been teaching her etiquette and proper human behavior.
Ah.
Flex that way.
So she may
Which is
look
true.
like. So she may look like what's in your opinion, but she doesn't act like it. That's an understandable barrier.
At this point, Michael is going to stand up, put his hands on the table, lean over, and look down to the left at Lucian. And let's see. You can't, essentially, to the fact of you can't seriously think that you're going to essentially disarm or nullify this Strahd, who I haven't been here for long, but all roads lead to Strahd in my mission. He has created so much of these undead abominations and whatnot, and you aim to merely nullify him as opposed to smite him, which is what needs to happen to this creature, Strahd.
Say, Lucian, I mean, it's not as if it couldn't work to our advantage. If this plan actually works, we could lower his defenses, and then we can see about defeating Strahd in a more conventional manner. It's we could use this.
In response to the
You
suggestion,
you
though,
expect this automaton, this abomination, to ever achieve a likeness of mortality in the way that would pacify Strahd?
I don't know about his means of making her look more appropriate or acting more appropriately, but I have to say I'm not exactly put off by the plan itself.
I mean, listen, if it's just about exploiting some emotional vulnerability, I
Yeah.
think we can do it better than with. Sorry, Abbott, but actually, I've been thinking about this a bit. Don't know that spell yet, but you know there are magical means of making someone believe something's there.
Yeah, there's all kinds of charm spells
I think
that
if we
could
like
benefit.
brainstorm it, we
Yeah,
can probably find something very effective.
True.
My point
So
is-
Michael's going to interject again and be like, Diva, you really have fallen from grace if you seriously believe that this plan of yours is ever going to come to fruition. This creature is never going to
Pass,
achieve
yeah.
the likeness of mortality or the semblance of life.
Hmm.
You truly have lost your sanity if you truly believe that's going to work.
And
And I say that for everyone at this table.
I certainly
You
appreciate.
You cannot replicate life.
adding on to kind of what Michael was saying, Lucian's just
Whoa,
gonna be like,
whoa, whoa!
I never believed that this plan would work, but I do believe that this fallen angel here is incapable of giving up this item of its lust.
I like how you're all talking in the third person, always like right there.
Yeah.
Everything, you guys are like primo rude.
Sorry,
Oh, yeah,
just
I mean-
hashing this out.
Yeah, I mean, Lucian's he's not that, he's a pretty straightforward guy. He's gonna tell
Yeah.
you what he thinks.
It's just
especially
pretty
if he
funny
thinks
as all.
it's
But anyway,
Yeah,
in
that's
response to
better
all this,
Being
he
rude.
hasn't said anything like this whole time.
Just taking it all in.
Yeah, just telling you,
Yeah.
like, just say all these things and all this conspiratorial and all this stuff.
I mean,
instead-
honestly, you not going off on us is a good point for sanity.
Yeah.
he says, as far as trying to defeat Strahd conventionally, I can tell you that there have been many attempts to do so throughout his unlife, if you want to call it that, and none have succeeded. If you feel like you're the only adventurers that have ever come to this country with the intention of slaying him, whether they be clerics, and they kind of gesture toward Michael, or mages gesturing toward Darius, or just your run-of-the-mill monster hunter gesturing toward Lucian. He says they've all died, or been taken prisoner, or been converted into something else.
Ah, but
Nice
we have
try.
one thing they don't: a bard. Shut up, one.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what about
That's
plucking
That's our ace in the hole.
And at that point, Lucian's gonna hold up the sun sword. He's gonna kind of out of the hilt.
Oh wow,
He's
yeah,
just
that's a good idea.
He's like,
That
yeah,
would be kind
they
of
didn't have
interesting.
this.
That's true, and he would have. Let's say he's heard of that because it's like Sun Sword Thunder. He's heard of that before. Wow. I
We're
mean,
just
what is- yeah.
we're just all blinded around the table. Ah,
What a power move.
Shut up!
Put this shit out, man.
What a power move.
Yeah, but anyway, in response to seeing this, he backs away, like takes a step back from the table, kind of shocked by seeing this. It's like that is something that is known to him on a level that exists beyond. Like, let's just say the Sun Sword has existed in the primary material realm, like this plane of existence, for a long time, like longer than Strahd, really long time.
Yeah,
And
I don't-
it's like a device kind of treated in, let's just say sacred, but held in high regard by followers of the Thander. There's a strong association between the two.
Hey, I don't. We gave him the diary to read, right?
Pretty sure we
Uh,
handed it for him.
Yeah, we did.
What diary?
The Tome of Strahd.
Hey, I don't remember if this has been firmed up or if this, if I'm just explicitly restating something we already know. Is the Sun Sword the sword of his brother?
I think it is. That's what you guys read in the
I thought it was like
tome.
Ooh.
Like he had a sword that was found from his brother.
I remember a
brother.
line about him hating a particular sword. It just seems, conservation of detail and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sword that Sergei brought. So anyway, in response to seeing the sword, and he says he kind of stares at the floor and like a intense glare of trying to ruminate on all this new information, realizing that he didn't even know that was in play essentially as an option, that you had it, much less. And brings a hand to his brow, and he's kind of just rubbing his head in kind of a combination of confusion and intense contemplation, and it's just kind of muttering to himself before again kind of standing up straighter, kind of trying to collect himself, and says, "You are welcome to try. I'm going to continue to go with this direction, this plan."
I mean,
Sure, good luck.
Yeah, Michael verbally just goes,
Do to fail. Do to
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I back up him again and say, as I said, I think the plan itself is actually a reasonably good plan. I think the execution you're putting towards is doomed to fail. By all means, we are there to help you. There is nothing to be said that we can't do both plans, and even if it fails, I turn to the rest of the party, what harm could it actually do?
Yeah, I mean, this is DM talking. That makes sense. That's a logical line to follow, and that it wouldn't. If you've not heard of this at all before, like you never heard the name of Felsoka, you never heard about. I mean, you heard about the lover and all that, but you didn't think never heard any idea of if they were to somehow be reunited, that would in some way do something to him. You've never heard anything like that. That was never implied. And I'm not going to mention when you found out in the tome that the body was never found, and now he's going after Irina. So it's complicated.
And
A lot of people also are not mentally sound, so then you enter in a lack of logic into it, you get weird behavior.
yeah, and I also add, you do seem to be kind of hyperly focused on this plan specifically, even after we showed you we have the means to kill him conventionally, possibly, at least.
Yeah,
Is this
So-
construct important to you? Is she related? Are you yourself in love with her as well?
Whoa!
How
Coming
would
on the ground.
yeah.
He's
How?
go ahead, Lucian.
let's just keep pissing off the abbot.
I don't think it was actually to piss him off. I am asking
Yeah, but
sincerely.
you're covering a lot of different ground. It's a little bit of a. It would make him a bit put on the spot. But in Lucian, you're.
But yeah. Also,
That's
as
not what
a
that-
player, I think, can I do an insight check? Like, I know it's a construct, but just to check that box to make sure it doesn't have a soul. Can I do
I think
like?
you did that last time and determined that there wasn't one. Not to mention constructs. I think you did, or you determined that constructs can't have souls. So it was one or the other.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
constructs are different than undead in that constructs don't have souls. They're just magically animated corpses. But they don't.
Yeah,
They're
and
not by the
I-
means of transferring soul, just simply physical effort.
And that's a really, really fine line. Like a corpse
Yeah.
walking around that doesn't have a soul. But
Yeah.
I don't know if Michael would be like this body. I don't know if he would care about the corpse itself as opposed to like the soul needing to pass.
Yeah, considering
So-
you're more on the neutral evil half of the death carrying spectrum, I would say that you would not really care so much about just desecrating bodies. Like that would not be a thing you would really care about. It's more about the
Yeah.
functional purpose of souls and the afterlife and the process of of reincarnation, or whatever, however it works.
Yeah, I
you know,
can-
that,
I can get
whole
on that train.
process is different than bodies just being seen as like an immoral or an ethical thing,
Yeah.
which is another direction entirely.
Yeah. Okay, I can get on that train. Okay. It's just it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. It's so no matter what, it's weird and
Yeah.
desperate and just strange.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it's a very large gamble and a big assumption. But anyway, he's going to respond to all these different questions, especially the one about whether he has any personal attachment to the Soka. He says he pats her gently on the shoulder. She has not really been responding or doing much of anything. She's just kind of sitting there, not moving or saying anything or.
I'm thinking like a lobotomized person, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much just a person just existing barely in the seat. That's about it. But then he turns to all the different people asking various questions and says, "I care for her to the extent that feel that she is key to saving this damned."
You
Country.
have a lot of hope in her.
I have all my hope in her.
In a corpse. That's great.
Over your own angelic body that you have, of all that divine might that your God gave you, Thander.
Well, the Thander.
Over. I don't know. I just feel like it's weird that he trusts this.
He hasn't used many of his divine abilities in a long time. Like he was manipulated by Strahd, so he hasn't really trusted them.
It just
He's
sounds-
using like his magical, more like divine forces to help the people. That's how the mongrel folk thing came about. Was due to Strahd manipulation, so he's been hesitant to go down that route again. So he's been trying to go in a relatively more
Subterfuge.
subdued and basic, simple direction, like or plan, or I want to say it.
I excuse myself from the table and go upstairs to find the musician and say, "Everyone, pardon me."
He watches you for a time, but then he kind of understands or gets an idea of what you're doing, so he doesn't really stop you. You can continue up the stairs. He says, "As do if I do not love her as that child purported. I am not. I
Yeah,
can't
she
feel
is.
that way
She is
about
quite
anyone."
boisterous.
And yeah, he says, I can't feel that way about anyone. Or at least, that's what I was told.
Not even your deity.
That exists in a different state of emotion, if you want to call it that, than what you all might be used to. It's more that we are created in his image and in some way share such a connection to him that it's more of a reverence or pure obedience to that. It's not something like love in that regard. It's something else.
Interesting.
Can't understand the yacht.
All right. So let's just say at this point that everybody has pretty much finished eating. The meal is over. We've been talking for some time, and everybody asked the questions they wanted to. He's visibly shaken, but still maintaining some amount of personal control, like he's still not throwing a fit or whatever. But he is, I would say he's been offended. He's been, like, interrogated, essentially.
Yeah, this has not been a fun conversation for him.
Yeah, we will not be invited for dinner again.
Probably not.
So, yeah, he steps away from the table and says, or Hector had done that. He kind of pushes in his chair and says, now, if there is anything else I can help you with, he kind of hesitates before saying that word. He says, I would like to retire for now.
Get rid of us. I gotcha.
If you would like to search for the gown I mentioned before, that would be most helpful. I cannot easily leave the monastery as they require my attention. But
Wait, I'm sorry. You want a gown?
yeah, he mentioned a gown earlier, like a wedding
Yeah,
gown.
he did, but oh, I didn't realize. All right, anything specific? Like
A traditional wedding gown is what he was implying. I mean, yeah, and if you actually ask him, he says it's nothing terribly complicated. Just find a wedding gown of sufficient quality and bring it here.
Sure.
Yeah, I do enjoy dressing corpses.
Leave him last.
The abbot is just barely keeping himself from flying off the
No,
handle.
sorry. Didn't mean to insult you again.
No, that was definitely my intent.
Okay.
Yeah, he takes her by the shoulder, kind of guiding her
Lucian
along.
says,
and
"Are you taking her to bed with you, or is it just going to?"
wow, okay. Well, you guys are really poking the bear.
Really egging him on.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm having a hard time with the DM coming with any other reasons to stop him from wanting to be violent. Let me just double check.
We're not giving you a lot of options, really.
If it was about to explode, we would probably be smart enough to not insult him anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately in D&D you can't save your game before you continue. So we might get a visceral. Well, I'll be fine. I'm
I mean,
sure.
I think Ash will be. But Lucian
He
doesn't.
actually doesn't say anything in response to the question. I'll do it that way. Doesn't say anything in response to the question. He leads her to the door, where outside are just he's not. He heard what you said because he stopped for a brief
Mhm.
moment, and then he opens the door, and right there is Siegfried and Otto, and he says he whispers something to them. They go with Vazuka exits the door with them, and they then begin guiding her northeastwardly toward the madhouse. So yeah, that's what they want to do there. Then he closes the door, and he turns around, heads back, and faces all of you, and says, "I would like you to leave now."
No, that's fair.
The soup was very good, thank you.
But I didn't
Lucian
get a
says, yes,
chance
the
to
pie was
play.
exquisite.
But I do want to give one the opportunity to
There we go.
do that with the upstairs. So let me.
Yeah, just rewind. As we're bashing the abbot, this is what happens with one.
Yeah, I mean, let me just see what's upstairs. They do have the upstairs area here. I'm not going to move you there. I'm just going to describe
Just
what
see
is
a
in
bunch
there.
of villagers hang up by meat hooks. Hung up by meat.
Yeah, let me. So here we go. All right. So you go up to this area. It's like a loft area, and you see. Let me just read this really quick. The wooden stairs climb 20 feet to a loft with a high-pitched roof and a door in the center of the south wall. Unlit lanterns hang from the rafters, and a rope dangles from a bronze bell lodged in the belfry 30 feet overhead. The room is filled with the sound of beautiful music, a melody so enchanting that it adds a bit of much-needed warmth to the otherwise freezing room.
Ooh.
A black shroud covers a humanoid shape lying on a wooden table. The music does nothing to stir it. A cot heaped with furs rests in the northeast corner, surrounded by empty wine bottles. An oil lamp burns atop of a table nearby, silhouetting a squat creature that has two heads. It sits on the edge of the cot with a vial between its legs. With a crustacean claw-like appendage, it grasps the neck of the instrument while running a bow gently across its string with its human hand.
I say,
Yeah.
I like enter
So
and
this must
see
be
the
clothing.
scene. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I
This is
enter and
clothing
see the
that you
scene,
can find.
and I like, let's jam, and I like break out my instrument next to him and play the counter charm spell and see if that would help break that guy from any hold he has on him.
Alright, let me put you on the map so because you can see that. Nobody else is going to be able to see this because they're not up here, but you
Oh,
can.
wow.
You can up here.
You did not mention the
Um,
obscured body from a
there was a body underneath under a tarp. Yeah, I did mention that.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm
what-
sorry.
A black shroud covers a humanoid shape laying on a wooden table. The music does nothing to stir it. That's what I said. So yeah, you play this music. He just tries to meet your melody. Let's say if you try to make one, and he smiles
Yeah.
slightly, but nothing. Nothing happens. He doesn't change his behavior. He just thinks you're playing music. He's not a bard either, so he doesn't notice anything about it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's purely musical. This actually sounds kind of nice.
So I
And it's
don't really notice a difference from downstairs. I'm assuming there's no. And
Wait, what instrument is she playing?
she would
What
be
instrument
playing.
is this playing again?
She'd be playing a saxophone, since there's no
Ah,
piano
right.
up here.
that's cool.
Yeah, nice saxophone and a viol. We got very jazzy shit going on here.
Yeah.
Very nice actually. But yeah, you don't hear anything from downstairs. There is no signs of fighting or anything. That did
Yeah.
not occur.
I'm just wondering if I heard like the "I would like you all to leave now" sort of demand, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, he said that fairly loud, but it would be sort of difficult to hear of the music. So let me look at you. You could do a perception check because you already would be kind of focusing anyway if you're playing
Yeah.
music.
That,
Yeah, you hear
and
it
I have an
just like
interest of what's happening downstairs as well. Though.
Yeah, you'd be focusing on it. So yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a bump. Then yeah, you hear just barely out of your downstairs. You hear him say that
Ooh.
his request for you to all to leave, and let's just say, Meshek. Yeah, you can either start heading downstairs immediately, but otherwise you would be heading in the direction of
Yeah.
the stairs to get you.
I'm like heading towards the stairs, acting all casual, and I'm like, do a performance that I accidentally remove the veil from the body. It's like, oh
Oh.
my, I tripped.
Okay.
Whatever. So, yeah, whether or not he
Yeah.
believes that was accidental.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, a 10. We'll see.
Would like
We're
to
going
see
back
the
to the other
body.
map really quick because I want to move everybody around, or at least check in to see what other people are doing. So let me put Zigfrag Basilica in auto elsewhere. Like, put him over in the place.
Mm.
All right. So what do Darius, Lucin, Michael, and Cole do when the abbot asks them to leave?
I mean, I guess leave. Nothing
That's what I
really
figured. I just wanted to make sure.
I mean, stay in earshot, right? One good one.
What was that? You're kind of far away, Darius. So
Well, just saying, well, stay in earshot for one to find us. But is there anything you guys want to do in here?
I mean, it's kind of a bust, right? Better than Rise of Strahd, but not much.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody answer Darius and say that is there anything he is Rich asking you, is there anything else you want to do here, or are you just going to leave?
I mean, yeah, but hasn't done anything that would put disdain from Hades. So I'm good.
Yeah,
He
as
just
far
thinks
as
the
I'm
Sabbath's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy,
Fair,
Lucian kind of thought he had a more insidious plan with these mongrel people, but since those guys weren't actually spellcasting, this is
Yep.
whatever. He does think it's kind of stupid that this guy is like a whole angel and he won't want to fight Strahd with us. He's gonna kind of say as much walking out the door.
Yeah, he had said that
Little
before
bitch.
that during the Zone of Truth, he said that he does not believe at all that you can defeat Strahd conventionally. Like, he is essentially convinced. He feels like he is no match for Strahd.
He
Like,
thinks
can
we're
never
as
do it.
delusional as we think he is.
I understand that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But Lucian doesn't really care. He just thinks, "Come on, man, why are you so? What are you?"
Yeah, no, he probably thinks we are the delusional ones.
Yeah, you both think that of each other, that you're both a bit crazy. He thinks that you guys, he doesn't think that so much as he did before, given that he's seen the Sun Sword, but still, he does not necessarily believe too strongly in your plan.
We're just sitting next to each other like, man, this guy's crazy. And the abbot's like, man, those guys are crazy.
Yep. So yeah, do you all leave? I think I heard Stu. What were you saying earlier, Stu?
I was just gonna leave as well. Kind of like stand up from the table, like wipe my mouth like with a napkin or whatever, or maybe the tablecloth. I don't know. And then just head up and start to head towards the door.
Yeah, by
Okay.
far the most polite guest out of all of us.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, he's like watching an episode of Maury.
He's at the end of the table just watching us.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, this
I was-
is entertainment.
I was gonna say something earlier, but it was hard to get a word in. I was gonna say something like we have tools and we have allies, and this is his tool to defeat Strahd. If we don't agree with his tool, then he can use it because we have our own tools.
True. That's the most reasonable. Like, that's essentially what one was saying, but even more, very broad. And that, like, what does it harm? It really doesn't. As far as factually speaking, what his plan is in no way interjects or interferes. Is like the right word actually. Interferes with your plans. Like, they don't intersect in any way whatsoever. So what he's doing might seem silly or even crazy, but it's harmless ultimately, at least to himself, to Ahsoka. The mongrel folk can't get any more really fucked open than they already are, so whatever. And you guys also are paragons. Like, if any of you were like a lawful good paladin, that would be something, but none of you are anything like that, so yeah.
Hey, I have a question that kind of got, lost in the weeds here. Hey, Mikio, don't want to be rude, but what the hell are you?
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to say something at dinner, but
Yeah, the topic was a bit different.
Yeah, Michael's gonna take his mask from the table, put it back on. He's just gonna walk by and say, I'm a servant of Hades. And just keep walking.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as what he looked humanoid.
No, yeah, humanoid, but obviously not human, right? Pretty sure most there is.
Visibly not a human.
Yeah. There is pretty sure most humans have pupils.
Yes, they do.
And a little more color in their skin.
He's a Benzo.
Yeah, he's got very pale skin, black hair, very pale, and yeah, no pupils. So that's a bit.
Lucian just says, "Who among us here is even human anyway?"
Beta
That's true.
The child.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
one is the closest one, and even she's been quite.
Dehumanized.
Yeah. So, yeah, alright, let's just say everybody leaves. I'm gonna put Michael went up the door. Lucian, do you want to. Yeah, hold one up the door. Lucian, you want to say anything?
Oh yeah, I mean, as he leaves, he's just gonna be like, he's just gonna shake his head and say, "You could have used this anger you have for us on Strahd." And just leave.
Yeah. He doesn't say anything in response to that. But that is fine. Put you out there. And Darius, anything last from you before I put you aside?
Nope.
I do want to pause real quick and like Stu. That would actually have been a very good point to put at the table. And I know we kind of like talk over you, and we're just machine gunning comments. In the future, if you want to say something or interject or whatever, just put something in chat like pause or I want to say something real quick. Then I will absolutely stop talking and give you the floor because that would have been
Yeah.
great.
That would actually would have been a nice offset to the harsh grilling you guys gave the abbot. Like you guys played into him and like just asked all these really awkward questions, like really pointed shit. Like that was very impolite, very improper. Yeah, interesting. That's not what I expected. I mean, I expected a bit of a.
Don't judge us. I mean, we're basically not been in polite company for a while.
No, no. Yeah, some of you also have been quite altered. I think that early on Lucian would have approached that differently, but
Yeah, definitely
Lucian is-
before being here.
yeah. Anyway, so that's what I want to say now. Is let's say everybody's outside.
I'm not
And,
outside.
I know. I'm not including you in that. Everyone else that was down here went outside.
Yeah, we step outside. And we're
the
like,
abbot
are we
is-
forgetting something?
Yeah, the abbot.
No one
steps up
important.
here. He's kind of like at the halfway point of the stairs, and he sees you up there, knock down the I guess it's the shroud from the table. I'm gonna put them in both places at once. What is beneath the shroud? I don't know, so I have to answer the question for you. Just give me a second. Oh,
Oh.
okay. That's not what I expected. All right then.
That's
Bit-
spooky.
you pull across the shroud, and you see a
Right.
no, it's beneath the shroud lies a creature made of stitched together body parts. You recognize some of these parts as your own.
The fuck?
I'm currently using my parts, so
Yes,
That's
but all the
strange.
same, yeah, like you recognize a hand or something. Yeah, there's definitely some parts of it are your own, or at least look exactly like your own.
do I see parts that are the rest of my companions, the party?
Maybe a couple, but most of them are. It's a mixture of you and miscellaneous,
I like.
parts that you've never seen from anybody, or
Yeah.
that could be anybody.
Yeah, I would hope you wouldn't recognize my parts.
Yeah.
Well, your facial expression, facial features, or whatever. Else, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, except Michael,
But
who
yeah,
I've
I-
not seen in the flesh. Yeah,
Yes. So, how do you respond to this?
yeah. So she breaks from the joking. Oh, I tripped to uncover the veil part, and she's like silently like looking at this, like what the hell is this? Sort of deep in thought like that.
Yeah. The abbot steps up the stairs and politely says to you, actually not politely, just sternly says, you should watch your stepchild. And he makes enough room for you to get by him if you wish to do so.
I turn to him and say, "What is this?" Like demanding. It's like a lot of it is made of.
He kind kind of gives you a confused look, wondering like why you're as upset as you are, given that what you saw downstairs, like you know about Vasilka, the golem, and all that. Like you know all that. So he kind of gives you a perplexed look. He steps close to the table and says, "It's another one of my earlier inquiries into how such creations."
Yeah, she's specifically asking. She's specifically asking about the body parts that are basically her own. She's like, that doesn't explain why these parts match my own. I like hold up like a hand to a hand to sort of illustrate this.
So you actually touch it. All right. When you do so, immediately, like instantaneously, it changes to be a different hand. Like it's not your hand anymore. And the abbot gives you like a very perplexed look of looking at you, and it says, "What do you mean they don't look anything alike?" And that you would, I mean, the obvious thing would be you would then look down and to confirm this, or at least what do you mean? What do you mean? And you would say like, "Oh wow, you're right that they are nothing alike at all."
I investigate for illusions, but other than that, I'm like, I just point to him and say, "You're crazy," and I walk out the room.
And then after that, in response to the investigation, I'll get to that in just a second. It's like part of this. It says, "Your eyes play tricks. For what truly lies atop the table are chopped up body parts, all of them taken from cold gray, lifeless women. All of them waiting to be stitched together into something horrid." And in response to your investigation, because you rolled very well, you can determine that what just happened was an illusion of some kind. You don't know how that came about,
but okay,
or why there was an illusion in play, or what's going on at all. You don't know. It was just okay.
Even so, she's a little upset seeing parts of her inside the corpse and say, "You're crazy," and she storms off basically. And she's like,
he doesn't say anything in response to that, and I'll now move you back to the other map because we're done there.
Yeah, we're outside. Yeah, we're outside, and we're like, "Are we forgetting someone?" And she storms out. Oh.
Yeah, she's like running down, like very quickly running out, and she appears next to you.
Hey one? What's up? You look
there,
upset.
there was a corpse up there, and parts of it looked like my own body parts. It was...
Okay,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Kind of like when Cole had that statue of him in the Dragon's Mansion.
Oh, that's less...
But yeah.
Yeah.
Character, Cole, did you ever tell anybody about the time that you saw yourself hanging, or the statue that you saw that looked like your own head? Those instances. Did you tell anybody about that?
Hanging, I don't think I ever did. The statue, or the head on the on the thing. Yes, I think I
When
did.
we present for the
Yeah, because I remember Bjor running up there like, "What? No."
Oh right, yeah, that did happen. Okay. Yeah, so yes, I was just making checking in character way, like if you guys all knew that. Like, yeah, that would seem very similar to what's going on in this situation.
I'd say in
Yeah, the
response
hanging, I never. The hanging vision, I never mentioned. I read it in my dream.
Right.
But of course, like only I would know that because because it's my dream.
Yeah.
But
And character-wise, nobody knows about that.
But when one comes out and talks about seeing like a dead body and seeing like his body parts on it, like I just throw my hands up in the air, like as I get flashbacks of the head and the hanging. I'm just like, no.
Yep.
And I just start like walking away, like nope.
And then,
It's
like,
extreme. It's very much 100% in line with that.
Yeah, Michael's gonna hear all this. He's gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah, that's true. You have no clue what they're talking about. And you've not encountered
Yeah.
that here before.
Yeah, Michael's gonna just be like, "Oh, great! I'm with a group of crazy people. I'm surrounded by fucking crazy people."
Literally.
Yep.
Uh,
That is very true.
I respond to Darius and
I
say,
mean, you're not wrong, but I explained the thing to him.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, you know.
I respond to what
Yeah,
Darius says.
as I guess we're walking out, you guys update me on what that
Yeah.
all was and what happened, and I'm just like, huh, these people are fucking crazy.
Because all we
Yeah.
saw on the tree was just a body, but
Yep.
Cole saw himself.
Yeah, himself, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, essentially, what's been going on throughout the whole campaign is that there have been instances of
Haunting.
body horror and illusions mixed within, like, together.
Yeah.
Um,
So I respond to what Darius
Fucking with
says, and I say, well, it makes sense. It was an illusion, but still, it was pretty upsetting to see, you know, a lot of me on the table there. It's not a pleasant sight, and it's, you know, it's not
yeah,
this.
it was like an arm and maybe a foot. I don't know what else beyond that, but yeah, there were definitely multiple parts that were made up from yourself mixed in with others that were something else entirely. But then when you actually uncovered it, it was just a bunch of generic women parts.
Let's just get the
Still
hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still pretty creepy. Yeah.
All right. So you guys, are you guys leaving the
I was gonna
monastery
say
entirely?
we should go to the vineyard.
The vineyard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. Yeah.
Yeah, once Michael gets to this point, he's just gonna whistle, and Mortem's gonna run up.
Okay.
I do
Yeah,
want to
more
do something
centered
before we leave, though.
location.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, go right ahead.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
I was going to say this is a more secluded area, so I was like going to see if that well contained any of the healing water from the village itself.
I get that line of reasoning. Give me a second. I'm trying to remember what the contents of the well are.
More bodies.
Seeing him do that.
Its body's all the way down.
All right. You look down the well. It's very deep. You can't see anything at the bottom necessarily. Where you hear movement, but you're not entirely sure that you did. It's pretty far down. It's just blacky inkiness, and then like I said, you thought you heard movement.
Worse
You
than
don't know for sure.
inky.
I'm like, okay.
Yes.
I hear the movement and I like say hello down the well. Like, hello? Is anyone down there? It's like, wait for the silence and then see if I can look at the water, basically. Yeah.
In response to that, the movement seems to stop momentarily, and then up from the bottom of the well are three glowing red eyes,
Jesus.
just looking up at you.
Fuck.
What the
And
fuck?
then that's all. You don't hear any response other than that, and you might hear like some skittering. As something maybe coming up, moving around in the well. You don't know if it's coming up or what, but you hear more intense movement in response to your appearance.
I
Can
turn
I-
to Lucian and say, what the hell was that? Yeah.
Yeah, can I look down and try to see what the hell this thing is? A perception or?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like how far is your true sight? That matters.
Not. No.
I mean, okay,
I've
what-
got an idea, but Michael would need to know that they're at the well doing something and they see something.
I mean, look.
Also,
it's-
does the true sight stack with the dark vision I already had?
No, they don't. They don't
Okay.
stack. It's just that intrusive is completely like supersedes dark vision, and essentially your dark
Okay.
vision has no more.
Okay. I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah.
I see.
I would have to go back and look and see if that, because looking up true sight generically does not really help me much.
I think you-
Give me a moment. I can do that though.
This guy's got crabs in as well. Look,
He's got Mirelix down there. Look at
Alright. Annoying. I don't know why it's not showing literally anything, because I know it's supposed to be the Amber Temple. But give me just a second. I can do that. Anyway, because I don't remember the actual length. I definitely would have told you. It would have been like, it would have been something like 60 feet. And if it would need to be more than that for you to be able to see whatever this is.
oh, so this is like
Yeah,
really
it's 60.
far
It's
down.
60 feet. Yeah, you can't see anything with your vision. But beyond that, it's like essentially in a fog of black fog. Beyond that, because of how your true sight works, you
Right.
see the same thing. You see three glowing red eyes staring up at you from the same place, and you hear a bit more movement and like the eyes slightly shifting around.
Is it still there or has it run off?
It's still there for right now. It's looking up at you and maybe perhaps curiosity. I mean, you don't know what it is. But you hear movement. You see the eyes kind of rotating you hear the movement, but it's still staring up right at you.
I
Is there
grab
like a bucket in this well?
Yeah.
Like, is there something attached to it?
I don't
Cut, I
believe
guess?
so. No, there's nothing. There's no like. No, there's no nothing to lower down into the well. There's no bucket or rope or anything. I don't trust
I'm
the.
gonna toss a pebble. toss
I
a pebble in there and see how long it takes to hit.
I-
water,
I-
guess.
use the light spell
Yeah,
on
you
that
hear a
pebble.
splash.
I use the light spell on the pebble and see if we can get a glance
Okay.
of illumination
There you
as
go.
it goes down. Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay, I like that.
yeah.
That is fine. It doesn't actually ever hit water. It goes down quite a long way. It seems like, okay, 50 feet, 60 feet, 70 feet, 80 feet. And then you hear sort of maybe, actually, it's just a pebble. You wouldn't hear anything, but you would see the entity, whatever it is, move out of the way, like a move in response to the pebble, as it kind of gets struck by it. Not like in any serious way, but they collide, and then it's some sort of a monstrous creature similar to the other mongrel folk that you've encountered here. It gives you like a kind of a wicked growl, or not growl, but smile. One side of its face is like a spider, and the other side of its face is humanoid.
Oh,
A lot of
No
well, as
fun.
long as it's no monster, that's cool.
I mean, it is, but it's not like anything.
No
it's not.
more,
It's
yeah.
nothing. Yeah, it's nothing different than what you've seen before. It's about
As
the
long
same
as it's not a
size
mean
as.
one.
I
Okay.
mean, it is, but it's not. It's not any like bigger than like Otto or Siegfried. Yeah, you can't tell at all from this far away whether it's like hostile or whatever, but it does look at you with an intensity of some kind.
Yeah, I don't want that water anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think this abbot is quite all there, but he seems to have these mongrel folk tech, so I trust him with it.
Yeah, I mean, he for sure is doing some good here. I mean, I don't want to think about these guys being out in the wild, you know?
But again, if he wasn't here, I don't think they would have been turned to mongrel folk.
Well, water under the bridge.
It does also bring up the question whether or not we tell the villagers about the truth of what's up here.
Yeah, I don't know.
do
What
you-
incentive would you guys have to do that?
Yeah, I don't care.
wouldn't.
I mean,
You
that's
shouldn't have
that's
cared.
just kind. Well, I mean, don't you think? Like, I have not been here long.
But I'm pretty sure this would end with this monastery burning up.
Yeah,
Maybe, but I mean, there's also the fact, like, would they believe you? That's a pretty
I
tall.
mean, if we tell them, yeah, there's like weird human animal chimeras up
Yeah,
here, but they're
chimera.
totally chill. They're fucking going to lynch mob the shit out of them.
Yeah, if they believe
If they believe,
they kind of fear the abbot. So if a bunch of strangers came into town, went up to the monastery, they came back down and said that, it's a very, let's just say it's a very high DC persuade, to put it in a mechanical way.
I'm just saying, do they have a right to know basically what's actually happening up here?
That's
But,
true. I mean, you also never seen any evidence of him, like, any abductions or anything. So you haven't seen him, like, you don't have any evidence of him taking anyone from the village or doing anything like that.
Just these
So-
chopped up body pieces.
Yeah, but you don't know where those came from. You don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
You don't know one way or the other whether they were obtained in a malicious way or not.
Yeah, no, Lucian doesn't really care. I mean, he's not going to tell anybody. I mean, if someone asks him, he'll say, he'll just kind of mention the general idea. Overall,
Think of the tourism, guys.
Yeah, and divas, Mongol folk, and constructs don't fall under the purview of a monster hunter.
Yeah,
They don't. You wouldn't really care.
yeah. It's not really, as long as they're not doing anything to anybody. Doesn't really
Yeah, this
matter.
is a self-sustaining community that's just kind of just they keep going on
Yeah,
its own.
live and let live, you know.
Literally, if we wanted to be spiteful, we could say he's holding a bunch of wine up there. He's hoarding it. It's like, okay.
Jeez, that would be funny. Anyway, so let's just say that we go to the world map. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got nothing else I need to do in town.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
then
gonna
I
go
shall do
collect the horse and wagon.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, I figured as much. I'm just moving us back to the world map, so that we can be heading out of Kresk and the monastery. What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
And down south, right?
Yeah, you guys intend on heading to the vineyard, which
Yeah.
is directly
Yeah,
south
yeah.
of here. But before we do that, let's take a momentary break. I know it's a little early, but I need to check something really quick. So can we do that?
Not a problem.
So yeah,
Sure.
5 minutes stops, and then then we'll come back.